welcome to another episode of
The Gabfest. Explain.
Sorry.
Explain.
I'm doing the zone out lately when we start.
Not the time.
Welcome to the Gabfest. I let you have your moment.
No, it's not how it works.
Sorry.
You left me hanging.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Gabfest. Today we are continuing part 2 of Love Thyself. So last week we discussed love thyself before others, right? Mm-hmm. And while speaking, a lot came up about emotions and your actual depression and all those things. So today we're going to jump into love thyself and fight depression, basically. Okay. So before we get started, unfortunately Cleo could not make it today. She's not feeling too well. But our guest co-host, Basani, she is here. She's just gonna come in like 2 seconds shortly into the building. She's in the parking, but
she's here.
She's here. So, Anks, how was your week?
It was good. However, I had 2 little tummy bugs that kept me up most of the night. Sorry, my kids had tummy bugs.
I was about to say, did you have 2
tummy
bugs?
Both my kids had tummy bugs, making it 2. So yeah, and it's still not going away. I hope it just subsides because I need my sleep, because they have this thing they do. They have their own bathroom, but they tend to use ours at 3 o'clock in the morning. So,
shame.
Yeah, shame. Shame to us.
Anyway. I'm saying shame to them.
To us.
Because go use your own toilet 3 o'clock in the morning. Who wants to do that?
Wow. Okay, yeah, well. But other than that, my week was fabulous, actually. I'm excited. Wheels are changing for me, yeah. And you?
I had a good week as well. It started off a bit rocky. You know when things usually happen, there's always people that come with their extra. When I always say, don't let the devil use you. The devil tried to use lots of people this week, but we made it through.
We're here,
feeling
guys.
Good and excited to jump into today's topic.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Doing the whole thing. Should we wait for Basani to walk in before we start, or shall we just carry on going?
Well, I think I'll share a few opinions before Basani gets here.
You wanting to?
Because the intimidation of, professionals.
Yes, a professional.
So, because I'm going to let most of her
do most of the talk. Your English through the duck.
Yeah, well, you guys know what I mean.
We know what you mean.
So yeah, I think I'll share a few opinions before
you share your opinions for those watching. So Basani has been on our show before.
Yeah.
And this was last year sometime, no?
Yeah.
When we did the Thursdays, the talk with Joan Thursdays. Yeah. So we had a whole discussion about mental health and stuff like that. I'll find out where it is, and then you guys can go watch it. Basani is really good at what she does, because she also comes a lot from a Christian perspective. Yeah. So she'll tell you what they are told to do in practice, but then she'll say also but from somebody who is a believer.
Yeah.
So that's also very nice for what she does, because many times you either get the full-on pastor opinion, or you get the full-on therapist opinion. Yeah. So we have a bit of both.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful blend, because the reality of the matter is, some people fight against psychologists and that type of thing, and because it's it's not a spiritual thing. And the reality of the matter is, I think God allowed that knowledge for other people to impart. However, there needs to be balance, because the reality of the matter is there is a big spiritual part of who we are as human beings, and that's very important. And I think she brings a nice balance to that.
Yeah. So do you want to put in your 10 cents first quickly before we jump into it?
No, jump into it.
You said you have a few things to say.
Bearing in mind that our conversation is flowing.
So the reason why we brought the whole depression side to it, right? Many times we've spoken before And we said it's so funny how it's so easy to claim I'm going through depression, right? We put that status on ourselves. It's depression. But is there a difference, do you think, in depression? We'll go into detail when Basani walks in. She is here. They went to open the door for her. So there is a difference when there is what depression actually is, and then there's a difference between I'm just having a bad day or a bad week.
Yeah.
Or
I think where the problem stems is that it's become like a trend, a social trend, to post or to say that I'm going through depression, when the reality of the matter is, especially us as women, I'm taking it from a female perspective, where, guys, we have cycles. We have, this time of the month we're feeling great on top of the world, this time of the month we're feeling low, deep down in the dumpster. And I think a lot of that is confused. So, and there are days when I feel like, I'm not getting up today, I just feel like doing like nothing with my life today. And that doesn't equate to me being depressed. Like yesterday, I didn't want to do anything. I tried, I did my best, got out of bed, but by the time, like about 4 o'clock, I was spent. Now I don't want to, I just don't want to be around anyone. I just want to chill. That's just personality. It's got nothing to do with me being depressed. That's just me feeling a bit low during that time.
who you are at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
So going back to what we discussed last week, so we spoke about the loving yourself first before others. What's your opinion? What do you think? How does depression fit into the whole loving yourself aspect?
I think it's a matter of we gauge it from how other people see us and what role they play in how we value ourselves. And if we think that they have a lower opinion, or they don't see us as, extraordinarily beautiful or whatever, or, excel in a certain area, then it's like we feel, okay, I'm not making a certain standard, so now I'm just not making it. I'm not good enough.
Finding myself in a low space. For me,
yeah.
I would say also it's going back to what we spoke about last week when it comes to the point of the confidence. What do you think about yourself, your self-worth, and all of those things? And how depression plays into that is, I'm going to use myself as an example. There's many a times when I feel like, motherhood, I just can't.
Can't anymore.
I can't anymore. Because you start questioning, is it only you as a mother who feels like, this is a bit too much, man? Because you do this and then you do that and then it's mommy. You can have such a good day.
Like
but
last night.
One too much mummies. One too many mummies.
My name is Sarafina for the rest of the day. Like, I can't.
So you get to the point where you maybe lash out.
Yeah.
And you go to the point where you start going into a hole after you lash out. Yeah. Because now you start questioning,
guilty.
You start questioning, what kind of mother am I?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to
do this. I'm supposed to be able to keep my cool. The child is not supposed to hear me say this, and all those kind of things. And I find that it plays such a big role, because then that can put you into depression as well.
Yeah.
Or we're not sure yet what are we claiming as depression.
Let's put it in a low state. Let's say
yes,
low
it
state.
puts you in a space where you're like, but if this happens one too many days, what then
it
goes
becomes
on?
A constant state.
It becomes exactly. So for me, I'd say that also where it plays in with loving yourself, knowing who you are, and all the others with it, because it works with your mentalness. Okay, so Basani has entered the building. We are so grateful to have you. Hi, how are you? Good. You can just have a seat. We'll do greetings when it is.
Good. How are you?
I'm not sure if your tea is still warm, but your tea is there. Because you were very specific. Hot milk, please. Is it still fine? Okay. So we just jumped in and started off, and we, like I explained to you last week, we were speaking about the whole self-love, and before loving others, the importance of loving others. So today we're jumping into the depression side of it, fighting, but we just basically touched on a few things, waiting for you to bring your expert opinions.
Yeah, we didn't want to say too much. Just now it's just completely off topic.
And then when you walk in, it's like, but she said. So we were just discussing why we think depression falls into the category of self-love.
So before we jump into that, let me just bring in this comment real quick. Hello everyone from Rita Marley. Yes, mental illness has become a trend, and sometimes you got to think, is it a bad day, week, month, or is it depression? That's just based on what we were just saying
now.
Just now, yeah.
So I know you just jumped in now.
Yeah.
Are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm settled.
Settled. Okay.
Okay.
So we wanted to ask you, what is, because we questioning each other here. Okay. Is there a difference between depression and having a bad day, feeling low, those kind of things? Is there a difference?
Absolutely, there is a difference, because depression is when you have series of sadness. Let me just say it, series of sadness, and you don't know why you're feeling sad. So usually I would say that there is a difference between being depressed and being sad. So sometimes something happened, or something bad happened to you, or you've been mugged, or you had a house breaking, or something just maybe just received bad news that someone passed away. It's normal to feel sad. But with depression, you find yourself being sad consistently for more than 2 weeks. You look around, things that you used to love, you no longer love them. You want to be in a dark place. You want to wear dark clothes. You don't find joy in your surrounding. And it also changes the pattern of how you eat, how you sleep. You either eat too much or don't want to eat. You sleep too much. Most people usually sleep too much, and they don't open the window. So there is a difference. It's normal to react and to feel sad when there is a sad thing that has just occurred, because normally you can't be happy and something has just happened. But with depression, it's like consistent and you don't know why.
So even if you're having a good day, you're just not feeling the day.
Yes. And there are some people who are high functional in depression. They will be able to do all the tasks that they're supposed to do in the day, but when they finish that, they go to their corner and feel low. They can't even validate themselves that I did great. They can't even receive acknowledgement from others. When you say, well done, Basani, you did so well, they don't see that, because they are feeling low. They are in a dark place and they do not have a reason. So that is how, in a layman's term, I say people check that you are depressed, because this series of sadness is happening and you don't know why.
So if, say today, like I'm feeling really sad, like nothing is just working and making me happy, and tomorrow I'm feeling okay, like, okay, let me go for a walk, let me cook, let me do something, and then the day after that I feel like, you know what, today is one of those days again, and it's like an on and off. Maybe today, maybe for the next 2 days I feel okay, and then one day. Does that equate to depression as well?
That might be a trigger. So there are triggers. Sometimes you are triggered by something to tap into a specific emotion. And when you are not self-aware, you are not sure what triggered that emotion. So it's important for us to know what triggers me, what happened, why did I feel all of a sudden feel sad. You'll find that there is something that triggered your emotion, and that can be a build-up to depression. I can't say it's depression immediately, but that can be a build-up to you being depressed. But what is very important is a consciously self-awareness, knowing what triggers that emotion. Is it the place? Is it the food? Does it remind you of something? Because as much as they say the causes of depression sometimes are known, mostly it's a trauma, past trauma. Something happened in the past and you never dealt with. You walk past where it happened, it triggers the emotion and you feel your sadness. So consciously conscious self-awareness is very important to know what happened. Why did I feel sad at that particular time or at that specific place?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that if I'm feeling sad today, I don't deal with it today, tomorrow maybe something happens, and because I've never dealt with how to deal with let's take it to layman's everyday things. Somebody makes you feel less of a person.
Yes.
And it makes you feel sad that day, but you thought you looked good for the morning maybe, or you thought you did something that was that was good, congratulations, and nobody gives it to you.
Yes.
So you feel a bit sad, I wasn't acknowledged, they didn't say I look nice today or something like that. Tomorrow, you going out and you're looking for somebody to say you look nice. And if you don't get that, is it fair to say that even a emotion that small can turn into depression? Or is that just because you haven't dealt with yourself? I'm not proud of how I look. I don't care who says what, because there's some people that your insecurities start building.
Yeah.
I just want us to distinguish where the self comes in terms of, so is it safe to say that that is just a emotion looking for acknowledgement?
Okay, so it is very important to have your own self-validation. So that can also lead to depression when you're looking for people to validate you, acknowledge you, because like I said, everything has a root. How you've been raised plays an important role. You'll find that for that individual, because they were never acknowledged or recognized by their mother or their father, it is very important for them to hear someone, Basani,
Say
you
that
look
to you,
good. Yeah, it might not be the same to the next person because they don't need any external validation. Their internal validation is enough for them. So depending who it is, but if you are seeking external validation, if they don't tell you, you will feel sad. You feel that, okay, the rejection that happened to me when I was young, it's still continuing. And people don't know your history. People don't know that you need that. So hence, it's also important to work on whatever is bothering you so that you don't seek the external validation, because it's not all the time where people can clap hands and say it was a good show. While it was a good show, but people might feel that, oh, she knows that she's the best. While you want to hear that.
You want to hear
yes,
them,
so
yeah.
it can lead to depression, it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to panic disorder where people are waiting to hear that and it is not coming. So it's part of self-love, because at some point you need to move away from the external validation and validate yourself. That if I have prepared this much for this session or anything, if I have delivered and I believe that it's the best, I don't need anyone to tell me. Yes, if they tell me, that is fine.
even better.
It's even better, but it needs to come from your core.
Nice. Okay, so I think you answered very nicely in terms of what depression is, how do we get to depression and everything. And when you asked me, what is the topic where we're going through, I always like, if there's one person, if you go through my phone now, the amount of screenshots, because Basani's WhatsApp is just screenshots about mental health in the silliest things, even like where you don't even think. You'll talk about cleaning and then you have a mental health section on how to clean.
Yes,
So after you asked me about the topic and how it fits in and everything, I did also screenshot your your research, because you obviously did some research on our
Yes.
topic for today. So I wanted to ask you, you posted something about the whole self-care and what it is. Do you want to go into that and then we can ask you questions?
Yes, it is very important to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. I call it sharpening my sword or filling my cup. You know, when you are giving, even if you are not depressed, at some point you get tired because you don't have time where you reflect on yourself and rest. So you get tired. It is very important to identify who you are first before you can move to any other thing. And in most cases, when they ask us who are we talk about our careers and that's not who we are. You must identify yourself, subtracting your career and your children.
Your
If you
degrees,
take
your
away
husband.
those things, your husband, and if you take away all those things, who are you? And that is your core. And who we are is the little things that we do every day. So I usually tell people, check the everything that you do on daily basis, and that's who you are. And then you look at what you do every day. Do you like what you're doing every day?
Or are you putting on a show?
Yes, or you're just putting on a show. And if you like it, yes, well done. But if you don't like it, that's where you start to consciously remove things that you don't like, because then they are shaping your character, and that's not who you want to project to the world. Then you start removing and adding. You don't just remove. An empty space is it's a space. So if you don't fill it with new habits, the old habits will definitely kick in.
And if it's not positive habits,
Yes, then you go back. So you start introducing new things, new habits that you want to them to form who you are. And then that's who you are. And then you consciously reflect. You start to tap on in your everyday life consciously, doing things consciously, and be intentional about whatever you are doing. If you are here, you are present, you are here, you're giving the best of today, then that's who you are. And that is important. Taking care of yourself also include boundaries. I think boundaries, it's like knowing who you are, the amount of work or things that you can take. How often can you assist people? Because sometimes we are overwhelmed assisting so many people that we don't take care of ourselves and we get burnt out. Taking care of ourselves, it's knowing when to stop and go for a holiday or go for a walk. Knowing that, today, this week, I feel that I am tired. I need to fill my cup. I need to sharpen my sword because I cannot take it anymore. But you find that we are doing and we don't have time to pause and reflect and say, how do I feel? How am I feeling today? How was my week? So what I usually encourage people is I know people don't love writing, is to journal. Like
we always discuss that. This one always says, what is the other option?
My guys, me and writing though.
Yes, but you don't have to write it. Maybe you can pause for a moment and say, what was good about my week? Your gratitude journal, I did this and this and this. I was not good with my time management, but now I'm getting better. You have reflected and you know what works. So in most cases, because we are too negative towards ourselves, we're looking at what didn't work. Instead of your gratitude, what is it that you have achieved? So taking care of ourselves is that, able to reflect what worked more than the negative side, and then taking care of yourself physically by whatever we're eating. Be conscious about what we eat, how we sleep. We need that 8 hours. You can skip 1 or 2 nights without sleeping the 8 hours, but then if you are continuously not sleeping that 8 hours or 7 hours, it is definitely going to affect you. It catches up with you. And the ability to know when to rest. And like I said, setting boundaries.
So sleeping is self-love. I'm just trying to define.
Yes, but moderate sleeping, because in the beginning Basani said that people in heavy depression tend to oversleep.
Okay. Yes. No, I just because I go to bed
asking for a friend.
I know.
I like how you know me so well.
Yes.
Because I just wanted to say, in terms of a lot of people or women define self-love as, I'm going out to the shop today to buy a pair of shoes, or I'm going to
bath time.
Bath time, or a new hair color or something. Or, I'm going to spoil myself for a cup of tea.
Yes.
So, are you saying that those are just external factors? They're not really self-love? Are you saying taking care of yourself has to do with, like you said, the boundaries or the me time? And when you say me time, what do you mean by me time? Like, what do I do? Like, if I'm not doing anything, then, or if I'm watching series, isn't that like me time?
Before you answer that, I just want to add on to that as well. I think also we were speaking about the whole trending things before you walked in, mental illness being a trending thing. It's a thing to post a reel and say, I'm struggling with depression. It's a thing to post, I have anxiety. And I feel like the self-care is one of those things as well. Because I feel that people jump into the bath, make the perfect bubbles, put the cup
And it's a lot of work, eh?
for an Instagram picture. But are they really having self-care that you're speaking about, where you're dealing with situations on how to face tomorrow again? Or are we setting up a showroom to take a nice picture?
And that's a lot of work. So for me, that just causes anxiety because is the flowers in the right spot?
Yeah, I think like you said, self-care can be that, like going to buy a cup of coffee and having a piece of cake, and then it makes you feel good, buying a pair of shoes. But then you don't have to do it excessively, where now you are obsessed with buying, and then you use a retail therapy to deal with what you're going through. That is not right. But yes, taking care of...
Sorry, is that the same kind of thing, like saying when somebody's going through something difficult, they'll go to alcohol?
Yes. So coping with how you are feeling or what you're going through, different people use different mechanism. One person will go shopping, blow their money, and the next thing they are sad. One will use substances. It's the same thing, but they're just using different mechanism. So like going shopping or having a cup of, as long as you are controlling it, it's not excessive and you are not blowing your money, it is self-care, because maybe it's a day where you dedicated yourself to say, I need a new dress, I want to feel good, I've worked very hard.
3 years ago's outfit.
Yes. So it's not extreme. But then coming to the social media part, sometimes I don't see it as self-care, because when you are resting, I don't think you'll want to have time to take pictures, and because that is the time where you are in conversation with yourself, unless you have done that, and then after that you have your photo session. But when you're having conversation with yourself, you don't need so many distractions, the blue lights and the blue lights, you know, and having that distract you, you might find that the purpose was to have a conversation with you, but you didn't finish your task because you wanted to take pictures and conversation with self. It's scary.
Yes, I always end up crying.
So,
That's not nice.
It's not very nice, because then you are one-on-one with you, and you cannot run away, and you cannot lie to yourself.
Yes,
because
so you can't put on an act because you're answering yourself like, that's a lie.
That's a lie. So sometimes I feel like maybe it's an act. If ever you did your conversation with yourself and you took pictures, yes, well, but mostly it's for Instagram, and there's too much pressure that causes a mental disorder from the social media, because we want to be perfect, we want to look like this. If I see this one in going for a holiday, we also want to go to unplanned holiday, which is pressure. It causes anxiety, and it can lead to depression as such.
The other thing also that has become a trend on social media, which is rather disturbing, it could have stemmed from someone that was maybe honestly in that situation where they were crying and they wanted to just let their emotions out, and then it just happened to be on social media. But that became a trend where people cry and like overflow their emotions like on social media and share it with the world. Is that self-love, or is that just attention seeking? I'm asking for a friend.
I think there's a thin line. Some people don't have anyone apart from the social media tribe, and they feel that maybe if I cry in that space, I will get attention. And knowing that with mental illness, there's a lot of stigma attached. That, I mean, if you put yourself out there to be vulnerable, for me, it really says that this person really needs help. Even if it's so attention, it's more crying for a help. Even if it's attention seeking, maybe it's okay, because this person should be directed to the right people that they can help. But sometimes social media can also crush you. You find someone where when you really need help and they say you're seeking attention, I mean, that can also crush you.
You want to read quickly?
Yeah. Okay, so we have Leandra out here. I was watching a podcast where the host was speaking about a mother who fabricated illness in their child for the sake of attention. It's called Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Love the comment on boundaries. It's very important. That's Asher Dean Mayer. It's very important, and some might take it as you being rude, but boundaries are extremely important and needed. Okay, and then the mother's name was Sarah Malga, for the Munchausen syndrome comment.
Okay. I think, I agree with the comment. Like I said, that boundaries are very important, and you communicate boundaries to the people that you live with, the people that you work with, so that they know that when we're dealing with Basani, we can go as far as this. And you're also protecting your mental well-being, because some people can take advantage of you. You can think that you are being kind, you are being compassionate, but people abuses that. So creating boundaries to say that I can assist you until this, or I can do this until this, or I cannot. Let's say someone is asking you to help you with something, or it's a task. You must be honest to say that, unfortunately, my hands are tied, I can do it on Thursday. Not agreeing to take everything, knowing that you don't have time to do that. Those are boundaries. People will learn to tell you things in advance. They will know how to deal with. They say that you teach people how to treat you. Those are boundaries. And we don't call it boundaries, but those are boundaries. The language that they use, the time frame, or whatever, or they're asking for any assistance. Those are boundaries, and it really helps you, because there's your surrounding, or your tribe, or your community knows exactly how to deal with you.
So I want to, based on what you're speaking about now, I want to ask, because it's very easy to say boundaries, right? It's very easy to say, I want you to treat me like ABC. This is enough. That's not enough. What happens when you're already in a circle? An example, you husband and wife, for example. You've been doing things around the house all the time. It becomes normal. Husband knows you're the one that does this. You're the one that's doing the washing. Because we've been doing it the whole time. So now let's say baby number 1 comes in, right? Obviously, things become a bit more difficult. Now, for my mental health, I need to now put those boundaries in place to say that I could do this before. But I can't do it anymore. Then baby number 2 comes. It's more on your plate. How do you then take something that was normal? There's some people that's even been married more than, some people get babies right in the beginning. So it's easier to adjust. Then there's those who wait the time, have their pregnancy plans and all of those things, where normal now changes because lifestyle changes. How do you now create those boundaries? Because now, if you don't create those boundaries, you can fall into the whole mental illness.
True.
What advice do you have?
I think the most important thing is communication, in that as soon as your family structure is changing, you need to have conversation. And most married people or couple, they run away from that conversation because it's uncomfortable, and it's tapping into someone now trying to assist you with things that you could do. So it's a conversation that you need to have while you are happy. Don't wait when then the dishes are packed and the laundry is too much and you can't take it anymore, and you start shouting.
Yes,
so
makes
as soon as you can see that you are not coping, you have a conversation that I think I am no longer coping with what I used to do. I will need help here and there. And also indicate where you need help, because sometimes we expect people to communicate how we want to be helped. And they feel that, oh no, I'm helping.
You didn't say anything.
Yeah, you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
If I come here and make you a cup of coffee once a week, I have help.
Yeah.
But that's not what you want. So just a clear conversation to say, I will need help with roll laundry, I will need help with this, to a point that if your partner or your husband or whoever is in your home cannot assist with, then you have a conversation, should we bring somebody inside to assist us with that? So we must not run away from difficult conversation with our husband, because sometimes we want them to guess that, okay, I'm supposed to help her in this way. So my advice is that tackle it at an early stage when you are happy, not when you are overwhelmed.
I love the fact that you're saying that when you are still in a good space.
Yes.
Don't wait to become angry. Don't
Yes.
wait, like you say, for the dishes and the washing and everything.
But I think what happens is a lot of the time especially us as women, we place an expectation. So we kind of hint, or we just feel like, how, but you see what's happening. Why can't you just act? Why can't you just do it? And the reality of the matter, especially I think more men, they don't think the way we do. They don't think, our logic is not their logic.
Yeah.
So what happens is that they don't fulfill the expectation, like, how, but now what's wrong with you? Everything was fine just now. And you thinking, I've been dying here under pressure for the past how long?
You don't see.
Yeah, you don't see it. Why can't you see it? Are you blind?
Yeah.
But the reality of the matter is you have to say it. You have to say, please wash the dishes. Hi, but why must I wash the dishes? Isn't that your job? Yeah, but we're helping each other out because this is a partnership.
Sometimes I feel like with men, you don't have to really say help with. You list things that you need help and they choose.
Yeah.
You list everything. This is my list. This is laundry. This is dishes. This is picking up the kids. And then if you can at least take 4 of those, and then they pick for themselves.
Yeah.
I think it works better, because then when
That's
you
nice,
say
though. Yeah.
you say do the dishes, it's like, okay, already she has decided for me, so this is not a conversation,
Yeah, okay.
or I don't have anything
I
to
love
say.
these.
Yeah,
I love those.
We should have brought on. Well, I should have brought
I
my
have my
notebook.
notepad.
I have 2 notebooks that are just eye-shamed. They're still fairly new. They've never been used. They have pens too. So now will be a good time to start. But I think that's so beautiful, the fact that a lot of, and I think that's where me and Xavier's conversations stem, like, how, but you've just been sitting there. It's like, but you didn't say anything.
Yes.
But you can get up. Yeah, but I wash the kids. Yes, twice a week. Whatever to
Yeah.
the rest, 7 days in a week. And they're okay with that, because according to them, they are really helping.
Yes. Yeah.
I really like also the factor that you brought, because as much as we're speaking about partners now, it has a lot to do with our mental state.
Yeah.
True.
So I love how you said they don't feel like it's a conversation. Because whenever men speak to you, they'll tell you the biggest thing is respect.
Yeah.
It's how you speak to me. And by you saying make a list, choose 4, it becomes a conversation.
Yes.
It's just like a moment in my mind.
Yeah.
That it does actually become a conversation that way. And then it does, because I myself, I don't like when you tell me, go do this,
Yes,
that.
exactly.
So for us doing that to our partners in the anger,
In the-
not in the happy
In the
place.
happy place. Yeah.
I can imagine. I think I now understand men. Thank
Yeah.
The experts.
you. We're experts now.
We've got Leandro.
Basani for president.
You're showering us with pearls of wisdom.
But I always love to have you on the show. And I've been asking you like 3 months, eh?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Ashadee's just saying they normalize being real with yourself. I think,
Yes.
yeah. That's an
So,
important point too.
Yeah. So, in your research that I have screen munched, you mentioned also the signs that you're putting yourself last. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, like if you are not consciously aware and you don't prioritize yourself, you find that you put yourself last in the line all the time. If they say, okay, let's say example, you have 2 movie tickets for us to go to the movies. You want me and you to go to the movies. And then my younger sister said, but I wanted to watch that movie. I gave her. But deep inside, I know I want to go, but I'm not prioritizing myself. If I need to rest, or let's say someone wants a babysitter and it was supposed to be my me time. Someone calls late, okay, I need a babysitter. I push what I was supposed to do and take that. In that way, you are not filling your cup. You're not sharpening yourself. At some point, you'll get tired and you'll have burnout or outbursts. That's why you'll find someone was, okay, now they're screaming and they're shouting and they're out of their character. You are
Someone
not
being me.
you are not used to them being like that, but because they've been taking and taking and taking, and no one is coming to assist you if you don't take care of yourself. No one is coming to help you. No one will say, Basani, you need to rest. You have to say, I need to rest.
You need to say to yourself.
So that is self-love. So if you're not, you putting yourself last on the line, it means that your self-awareness is still very low, and you really need to push yourself to know what is it that you want, so that you don't put yourself last. If it's anything, if it's food, you put yourself last. Even if there's a lot of food, you can see that everyone is going to dish, and then there will be extras. You put yourself last. I mean, it's very good to be very compassionate, to have empathy, but you must able to discern or to read the situation, that should I do it like this, or especially if you are not hosting. Maybe when you are hosting, it's in your house, you can wait for everyone to dish, but you can see, but because you are always worried about everyone else but not yourself, and you find that usually it happens to firstborns and people who grew up in the child-headed household, where you had to take care of everyone. You feel that it is your responsibility, and you feel like you are not doing justice when you have to do something for yourself, or you have to get something new, or you have to eat first. So that is not self-love, because at some point you get tired and you have burnout, and it can lead to depression. So we need to know when to do that and when not to do that. Yeah.
So you're saying balance.
Balance is very important. Yes.
So I would like to know, where do you think the line is in terms of serving and boundaries?
Yeah.
Where do you think we can think about, okay, this is still seen as serving? Because there's also some people that take it overboard, where everything is self-love, everything is love yourself, and then they lack the serving part. What's your thoughts on
Or
that?
compassion part.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that is very important, because that is narcissistic personality. We'll call it narcissistic personality.
Leandra,
When
my uncle's favorite word.
when someone, it's all about them. There is a huge difference when it's all about you. Everything's all about you. You have to get everything first. You have to be the one who looks beautiful. It's your point which matters. You don't even want other people to raise their opinion, because it's all about you. There is a difference. And those people usually, they are not servant leaders, because they don't like to serve. It's all about them. They love being served. Yes, because it makes them feel good. They have power, they have authority. But serving is knowing your core, that, when you serve and you are not tired and you're not burnt out, you get fulfilled. There's something that says, I am happy because today I served someone who really needed to be served. I helped somebody. So there is a huge difference. Serving, it's a conscious decision that you make, that I see that there is a situation in this community or this family. I'm intentionally going to serve them or to help them with their needs. And you serve and you come back. With someone who is it's all about them, they are going to serve, and everyone will know that I've helped them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be where they are if I didn't go and help them. So that is the difference. And people who serve, in most cases, they also suffer from giving and giving and giving until they get burnout, or they give until they don't have anything themselves. So you need to know that, yes, it is very good to be compassionate, to serve, but at what point you stop?
So you mustn't feel
stop.
drained. You mustn't feel like, this is just too much. Or
Yes, exactly.
where you're going to serve, but now you have to sort of like dodge, because you don't know
Yes.
how to say no. You don't know how to say, I can't do this.
Now it's daunting for you. It's no longer, you don't get that pleasure that you usually get when you are being forced. Now you are forcing yourself to do. Then you know that is no longer saving. Then you have pushed your boundaries. Or maybe that's when you should have asked other people in the community to say that I have helped until this far, but now I feel like it's no longer in my hands. So serving is good, but you also need to take care of yourself. When somebody is has narcissistic personality, it's all about them. Even when they give, everyone will know. So there's a huge difference there. And with that, when I serve and help someone, and they found that the whole world now knows that I've been helped, it also takes away the gratitude and the happiness or the change that you were supposed to give to the family, or the impact that it was supposed to have. So we need to be
because now
conscious.
you're rather seen as a charity case or something like that.
It's like you're a hero now.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, based on the fact that you're saying the self-love and all of those things, maybe you can also put in your input in terms of, we mention so many things of self-love other than, just sitting back thinking about it. But you also mentioned something just now, saying that you need to think about those that's maybe a bit less fortunate, in terms of maybe you running the household, some families where the oldest takes on all the brothers and sisters and their kids and everything. What do you think people like that, or somebody in a situation like that, can do to gain some sort of self-love? Because let's be honest, if you're looking after 5 brothers and sisters and kids, your uncle's child is also here, and when do you get the time to self-love if you're in a situation where you don't have the means to just go drink your cup of tea alone in the back room?
Yeah, that is a very a beautiful question. I want to give you an example of myself. Many months ago, I think when I met my husband now, boyfriend then, he wanted to marry me. And then I want to go to your question with examples and story, because people relate to stories. Yeah. And then I told my mom, and my mom said, "You are not ready." And I didn't understand, and I was so angry. Why is she saying that I'm not ready? I mean, parents could be happy when you're saying that you're getting married. And we waited for 2 years or so. And then I told her the same question. She didn't say you are ready or not ready. Okay, it was an okay thing. So I got to know why when my younger sister was about to get married, when she told us that she met a guy and they want to get married. And my mom said to me, make sure that she's ready. Remember, she didn't tell me why am I not ready. And I went and sat and gave myself a task. What is it that she needs to be ready? Then I realized that my mom was trying to tell me that you don't know your self-worth. You don't know who you are. Therefore, you are venturing into an environment that is not safe or conducive for you when you don't know yourself. So answering your question is that there are some people who are not privileged for a cup of coffee and stuff. And that wouldn't matter if you know your self-worth, that your self-worth is not determined by what you have or what you don't have. You are enough with whatever situation or in the environment that you are. As long as you believe in yourself and you know your core, you know who you are, meaning that you are in control of the circumstances or your daily activities, and you are in touch with your dreams or your goals, even if your circumstances doesn't say that your goals can be possible. So that is enough. It will make somebody who is sitting in an informal settlement to know that self-love for me might not be going to the malls and buy stuff and drinking coffee and cake and posting on social media, but it can be me being happy with in an environment where I am and knowing that I'm working towards getting out. It's just like money. If someone gives you a 100 rand, whether it's dirty, whether it's torn, the value is still the same. So it's not about what we have. What we have is just the means of you doing something. Hence I said, people cope with different things using different mechanisms. So even if you don't have the money to go and shop and do things, find a mechanism that works for you, that is aligned to who you are and which embraces your self-worth and your core.
Nice. True. For real, for president. So, do you want to, before I ask my question, do you want to say anything? Oh, I thought you were getting ready for another question. So, I wanted to ask you, right, based on the fact that many times we say surround yourself with the right people, but you never really know if it's the right people until you're in the crowd, in the situation. Because like even with marriage, you can date someone for 5 years, but until you move in with them, you don't really know the personalities of the everyday person. So it's the same like with friendship and anything else, any form of relationship, if I can say that. if we say surround yourself with positive people, seeing the light and all of those things, is it safe to say that if you surround yourself with certain people that you can fall into depression based on who you surround yourself with?
True. Very true, and it's very important question. I love your question. So it is very important to surround yourself, and you are correct. You will never know who people are until you spend time with them, and that has to start with you, what you want. So everyone can be a good person based on what the boxes, whether they tick your boxes or not. So you need to know that. For me, when I say this is a group or the tribe that I want to associate myself with, they should tick these boxes. Those are your own boxes, and our boxes might not be the same. It's okay. So you must have a list of things that they need to be honest, they need to be whatever, and someone will have. And then you see whether they tick that or not. And it is very important to know that the relationships are seasonal. So we love to keep people forever, and we don't have to, because some people are there for a purpose and they need to leave, and we want to keep them. Hence they become relevant in our life, and they hurt us because they're no longer playing the purpose that they're supposed to play. So knowing your circle or your community, it's from you. You tick the boxes. That if I usually say that when someone show them who they are the first time, believe them, because they are still going to do that next time. So it's about you. What is it in your box, whether they are ticking or they are matching? And people don't like to move from their tribe. You must be bold and say this relationship or this friendship is no longer serving me, without fighting with the person. And you will meet and say, hello, how are you? But you no longer relate or have conversation with them like you used to, because they are no longer serving a purpose. It can lead to depression because you find that you are in a circle of people who are pressurizing you. You don't have your voice. They are competing with you. You can see that they want your life, or you can't even make a decision because they always decide for you that we are going to the party and you're going to wear a pink dress. We are going to, yes, and then every time you obey, but you are in an environment where you don't want to, but you can't say, you're slowly losing yourself. So that is very important. You check your friendship. Am I only allowed to voice my opinion? Am I allowed to say no? And is my friend able to embrace diversity? Because we can be friends, but we might not see things the same. I must have my own opinion, that my opinion is this, your opinion is this, but
and
cool,
it's okay.
But you wouldn't want to surround people whose opinions are always the best and they don't listen to you. So each and everyone must tick their own boxes, that I want to surround my environment with this. And am I growing in this relationship? If we meet, what are we talking about? Are we talking about something that grows ourselves, or we just gossiping 5 hours and we go? For me, that is waste of time. I have a sister that she's married to my husband's brother. So they are in Nelspruit. So we have this thing that every time we meet, we must learn one thing from each other. We must not just meet and then we talk, and there's nothing that we are learning from each other. So even with friendship and circle, there must be something that you are learning. You must know that this is a person that when I can't pray anymore, they can lift me up. If I can trust them with my children, they can trust me with their children. If I can't go and pick my children, they can be there. There must be something that you are both benefiting. It must not be that your friend is always benefiting from you, but you don't have a voice.
But it can also go the other way, in terms of when you're not confident in yourself and the crowd you're sitting with, you actually allowing them to tell you what is right and what is wrong without actually thinking for yourself. Is this the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? And you just become a little follower.
Become complacent in just being in that space.
If they tell you wear black, you don't question, but black is not my favorite color. You put this person on such a high pedestal. So
you know, some people are even comfortable to an extent that they don't even plan their life. They will wait for their friend to say, where they are going or what they are doing this weekend. And they're even comfortable to say, call and say, what are we doing this weekend? They never have a plan. They never have a plan for themselves. They're waiting for somebody to decide for themselves, and they've tend to love that life, and it's not good for them because they are not living their self. They are not living their purpose. You can't even serve. You can't even have a meaningful life because you are living someone's life. So having your own identity and owning it is very important. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask for a friend, obviously. When for people who are overthinkers, right? So let's just say I'm in this situation, I have a friend and I feel like it's just a toxic environment and I just, you know what, it's time for us to move on. And for an overthinker to just say, look, my friend, we come to the end of our road, our journey. Some people overthink that and that leads to a sense of depression or like, did I do that right? Or maybe I should just stay in this relationship even though it's toxic or whatever. No. How do you let go of that?
Yeah.
What is the process? What can I do to say, okay, fine, I don't want to give anyone offense, but I'm done with this relationship here. Like how?
Yeah, it's a good question also. It's very important. I also always tell people that, if you are leaving a relationship or ending a friendship, you must mourn the relationship in order for you to move forward, because obviously there will be a point where you were used to this person. You find like maybe there's a joke that you used to share and you see something and this person is no longer there. You'll obviously mourn, but you are mourning in the process, knowing that this is for me. I'm taking care of myself because that relationship was not good for me, although I had good times and so mourn the relationship, mourn the loss. Loss is not necessarily losing someone when they've died. It's even losing the relationship. Mourn the relationship, mourn the end of a particular relationship that you had. Then you'll find that it becomes easy because you know your why you left that relationship.
I don't blame her. She was also in the pageant.
Yeah, you know your why you left that relationship. There's so many red flags than the blue flags. So you need to mourn and move move on. It's not an easy thing. You'll have your up and downs. Oh, maybe I must stick to her. Maybe, but as time goes, you'll find that you get used to the fact that they are no longer there. Yeah.
So based on that, also, I had a conversation with somebody. I don't want to mention names because I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable position. But if the person was here, she could have told us from her mouth straight, from her personal example and experience. But there was a time where we had a discussion and she's thought for the longest time that she's in depression, right? So she's spoken openly about it before and everything like that, and then moved on to a new relationship and finds herself not in that space anymore. So she started questioning, was she actually in depression or was she in a situation where she was just very unhappy? But her doctors prescribed the whole depression tablets and all of that, making her believe all these years she's stuck in depression. Moved to a new environment and does not have the same emotion anymore. What's your input just on that story?
It's very tricky when it comes to a formal diagnosis by a doctor, because then what is it that they have seen for them to confirm the diagnosis? I'm not sure. But sometimes, remember, with the depression, there's major depression and there's just like the minor one because of certain circumstances that are happening in your life. And then you can be weaned out of medication from that. And that happens because maybe you are overwhelmed with certain things. You have multiple deaths in your family, so many things that are happening, and then you're likely to be depressed and you can be weaned out. So I'm not sure with her what was happening. Like I said, with mental disorders, in most cases, it is very important to know your triggers, because it's not the same. So I don't know what was triggering her sadness in that specific environment, that she felt that maybe it was not depression, it was something else that she was dealing with. But whatever that is, something else, remember, can lead you to be depressed. So it might be the environment, It might be that she didn't have the major depression. It was just a phase that she was going through, and then she was able to get over it. It happens. Most people with multiple death, loss of income, loss of property, loss of things, they might tap into a depression, and then it's managed, and then they win out. The challenge is when you are put on the medication, and then you stop the medication yourself before the doctor says you can stop. Because when you have the second episode, it's very major. Then you find that your relapses becomes more, and then it becomes a chronic depression. So that is very important, that you don't stop the medication by yourself. You wait for your doctor to say that you can stop.
Okay. You want to have your last say with anything, anything for anything?
No, I think a lot has been covered, but thank you. There's a lot of nuggets, especially stuff that we can take and go put in our marriages. Or
even if something that's not depression,
yes,
but so much
something to prevent depression or any conflict that might arise, or in any situation, whether it be just a normal friendship, relationship with your family member, whatever. So I think those nuggets are very, very important.
Yeah.
So from my side, thank you very much.
I understand men now.
Thank you so much.
Experts now.
Yeah. But I feel that maybe lastly, what is very important about depression is that we must take care of ourselves and try to eliminate stigma surrounding the mental disorders, because people are suffering alone and they're scared to come out because of the stigma that is attached. And taking care of ourselves, checking your emotion, where are you, how are you feeling? Is it a sadness that is persistent? What has been happening in your life? You jot that down and able to see whether you are depressed or there's sadness that is happening, and know when to say no. When you are tired, I think that is very important to say that I am tired, I'm taking a weekend off just to relax, to do nothing. And also, like you said, from my screen munch, you will see that sometimes for you to help yourself from depression, walk, 30 minutes walk, having good interaction, socializing, environmental exercises, and sleeping 8 hours also help. And also having good conversation about how you feel, and having a conversation with yourself. How are you and who you are and where you're going? Setting boundaries is very important in terms of depression. And educate people around you about depression, and get as much information that you like to get, so that you can inform your family. And if you see your friends, they're in dark space, they're no longer opening curtains, they're no longer doing stuff that they like, reach out and say, is there anything that I can help you? We start there, because some people, like I said, they're high functional, they can come to studio and deliver what they're supposed to deliver. The next thing you find that someone has just committed suicide and there were no signs. So let us be kind to each other, show compassion, so that people can come to us and say, hey, I'm struggling with this and that, and we are able to assist. Yeah.
Nice. What I liked also what you said with what would be my closing remarks is that I didn't ask you the question, but you mentioned it now already. It's one thing when someone is in depression, they go into that whole isolation thing. But you just said now the thing to get out of it is go and socialize with people, get some positivity from the outside. And I think that's one thing that is very important to hammer on, because people in depression, they cancel plans.
Last minute.
I'm not feeling well, I'm going to stay at home. People in depression never want to go out, but they don't understand that that is actually the healthy medicine to get out of your situation. So I really like that you said that.
Somebody said like they felt that they are in a dark hole, and they are being trapped there in that hole, and it's like they wanted a little bit of light to come and carry them, but the light was not there because they were not comfortable to say that they are depressed. And we must also know that people cannot just step out or snap out of depression, because it's just like any other maybe physical disease that a person can have.
Just last comment from Leandra. She says, thank you for having the most vital conversation. Ladies Basani, thank you for articulating your insights in such a relatable way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Basani. A relationship I am very grateful I've made over the years. We don't see each other much, but when we do see each other, it's always so fruitful. So thank you so much for coming. I literally asked you yesterday, please tell me you're free. So thank you so much for availing yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. I hope, like we felt, that you managed to write down a few nuggets to go make a difference in your life, in your partner's life, in your boundaries. In your boundaries. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.